We got no sound. Iredell-Statesville Board of Education, come to order, please. You please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand with us for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, any changes to the agenda?
I'd like to add an agenda item, please.
All right.
I make a motion to add board member comment to the agenda for the following reasons. I want to comment on going to MB Mills and seeing the production of Annie with Mr. Schumacher and the cast doing such an amazing job. I also want to thank the county commissioners for forward-looking to setting aside money for building our future schools. I'd like to talk about the tour of Statesville Senior, South Iredell High School Ag Department and the things that I've seen there. I want to talk about an upcoming tour of the North Iredell High School Ag Department. I want to recognize how well North Iredell FFA is doing. I'd like to tell a story my mama told on her teacher from Central Elementary back in the 40s, Miss May Sprinkle. And also missed out on board member comment last month, which we celebrated Christmas. I didn't get to tell about how a holy God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to be born for the purpose of dying for me. I believe I should occasionally publicly thank the Lord.
Okay, you made the motion. All right, is there a second?
I second that motion,
Okay,
and I agree with Mr. Sloan that we, as a board, are not able to speak about our visits to schools or other things going on in the district, or even bringing up new business or even asking questions. That amounts to censorship.
okay. Any other discussion? All right, is Abby on the line? Okay,
I'm here.
thank you. Okay, all those in favor of the motion to add board comments signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye.
No.
No, no. No, it's 4-3. So the motion fails. Is there any other changes or just?
Chairman, how underneath recognition, under the, after the consent agenda, approval consent agenda recognitions, number C, strike through it, and in its place, move up number D.
Thank you. I also would like to add, and I guess I'll have to make a motion, to add a vote to, for this board to allow Mr. Kubanik to represent us in the new committee being formed, the legislative committee that will be formed by the North Carolina School Board Association. He will be chosen from a list of the, 116 school systems we have. So I would like to add that to be B under school calendar.
I would also like to make a motion,
Well, we got to
change
vote on,
calendar.
we got to vote on
I'm
that.
sorry.
Okay, so could I have a motion? I made the motion, I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, it passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Kern.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to move public comment prior to the non-consent agenda so that anyone that may have information or request for the board prior to voting can publicly express their thoughts and opinions.
Thank you.
Point
Is that second?
Point of information, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
So in the many trainings that we have provided the board, I guess the best one was from Jim Slaughter, who is the Southeastern's most prestigious parliamentarian. And one comment he made that we have heard in multiple trainings: we are about the business of the board. While the public elects you, you hire me, and we do have venues for the public to be heard through email, social media. There's not a day, typically not an hour, that goes by that staff nor I do not receive comments. So in my opinion and my recommendation, this should be about the business of the school. The public has its way to comment, and one of the reasons that we over time moved the public comment to the end is because it's hard to start a meeting out with negativity and then reward the kids that are sitting out here. So it's about the kids, it's not about the adults, unfortunately. If you take the offense to that, sorry. But it's about the kids of this school system and recognizing them. Thank you.
I think under our board policy, though, Ms. Kern made a motion that we'll have to entertain that.
I second that motion. Dr. James, you are correct. It is about the children. And the motion was to move public comment before the voting agenda, the non-consent agenda. And the public has their duty and a right to give us information about what we're to vote on. And what you're suggesting is the public does not have the right to speak to us, for example, on the calendar that we're going to vote on tonight.
Point of privilege, Mr. Chairman. Please tell the board member he cannot speak directly to me.
That's right.
Or make a comment towards me as a person. It needs to be directed towards the comment that has been made.
So, Mr. Chairman, we owe it to the public
Mr. Kubinick.
that pays our taxes and your salary that they should be
Mr.
entitled to
Kubinick,
speak to us
please.
before we vote.
You've made your second. That's all that's required. Okay. All those in favor of Ms. Kern's...
Point of order.
Or any discussion. It shouldn't be, but any discussion.
If we're going to still have public comment, I mean, we're not going to do away with public comment. If we're going to get to hear public comment, I understand we shouldn't have it before the spotlight for the kids, but directly afterwards, I don't see a problem if we're going to have public comment, at what point we have it.
Point of information.
Yes, sir.
The reason we have the committee of the whole is for the public to give us feedback before the vote comes up the next month, so there's plenty of time to discuss it. Prime example would be the calendar that's at hand. We've been discussing it for 3 months, and if the public's not aware of it, then it should not delay what we need to do as our business to conduct a board meeting about the business of the school system.
Thank you.
Point of information, some items on the agenda are only introduced at the beginning of the month, and there is not an opportunity for the public to be able to speak on some of those issues that have only been presented at the beginning of that month. There are, yes, I'll agree, some items that we've been discussing for a while, but not everything. And then this would allow them to have a voice prior to the vote and have a say in their opinion. Not everybody has the access to email, and they come here so that they can address their concerns with
Okay.
using empathy and emotion and feeling and look you in the eye. And I think that's important.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I guess while the other arguments are valid and they make reasonable points, I guess some of the reasons from the other side of the coin would be, honestly, the sophistry, the political back and forth that we've seen, that the comments, unfortunately, I think have became a political platform for sides to go against each other. One side sees, I'm going to make sure that side knows what I'm doing, and the other side says, I'm going to make sure they know what I'm doing, and which it's became more about political grandstanding at times. It seems that in actual communication, there has been some good communication, but there's been a lot of politicizing of the event. My other only comment would be the county commissioners, they do their, they do their public comments at the beginning, middle, or end, Mr. Chairman? Do you know?
I think there's about the middle.
Is theirs at the middle?
I think so.
Okay, just wanted to ask. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other comments, then the motion is to move public comment on the agenda. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
No.
So it does not pass, 4-3. Is there any other changes to the agenda? Okay. If not, then I would like a motion to approve the agenda. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda. Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye, please. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Yay.
Nay.
So we have 2 opposed, I believe, or 3? 3 opposed, so the agenda does pass 4-3. Thank you. Okay, we have non-consent agenda. We have the committee of the whole meeting minutes, Board of Education meeting minutes, and the personnel report. I need a motion for that.
I make the motion to be approved.
Okay, I have a motion, need a second.
Second.
So it's been motion and a second for the approval of the non-consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes 7-0. Thank you very much. All right, we have several groups with us tonight. Thank you for coming. Mr. Paisley.
All right, good evening, Chairman Howe, Dr. James, members of the board. I come to you this evening with some exciting news from our Lake Norman High School cheer team. So very early December, the Lake Norman High School JV and varsity football competitive cheer teams competed at the North Carolina High School Athletic Association Cheerleading Invitational State Championships. The Lake Norman High School team competed against 116 different North Carolina high schools and completed 159 different routines in 45 different divisions. And so in all of that, Lake Norman High School secured a first-place finish in the state championship title in every division that they entered. So that being the Division I large all-girl varsity traditional state champions, the Division I large all-girl varsity game day state champions, and the Division I large all-girl junior varsity traditional state champions. So tonight we want to recognize all of these student athletes and their coaches for all of their hard work and their outstanding achievement in those accomplishments. So Mr. Keener is going to help pass out some certificates, Dr. James, Ms. Kern, to recognize. And as following here, Mr. Knight, if I do butcher your names, please forgive me. I will do the best that I can, but so we do have Eberly Bannister. All of those are in alphabetical order. Eberly Bannister. Oh, well, if you know who's here, you want to call them out, then we can, or they don't want to be called out. Destiny Marlucas? Close, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Gabby Zimmerman. Ruby Lucas. Oh, Haley Crooks. Which one is she? Summer Nachtman. Violet Lucas. and Taylor Miggins. You didn't bring your sister with you? And of course, the head coach, Tanya Match, and Cheryl DeStefan. Close. So they had a very big team for the large Division Ones, but congratulations to all of you. Great job. And I did see you the other night against Kannapolis, and you did a great job in that routine then as well, too. So congratulations to all of you.
I'll be 20, 30 seconds. Mr. Chairman, may I make a quick comment, please? I just want to say, my high school that I went to I won't tell you when, we were national cheerleading champion. Girls, those young ladies, and they're still young ladies, get together every year. They see each other. They communicate on Facebook. They've got their own little group. This is something special you'll never forget and will be with you your entire life. And I'm just so proud of you. And, you know, it's special what you have. And I hope you realize that. Thank you.
Ms. Cooper and Mr. Ribbick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chairman Howell, Vice Chair Kelly, and Dr. James, we would like to present to you this evening the state recognition of schools for meeting or exceeding growth under the North Carolina Accountability School Recognition and Exemplary High School Graduation Rates. Each year in North Carolina, the State Board of Education recognizes schools for their outstanding graduation rates, exceeding the goal of expected academic progress, and for achieving the goal of academic progress. We would like to recognize the following schools for their outstanding accomplishments. First, we'll start with the outstanding graduation rate. We have the Agriculture and Science Early College with a 100% graduation rate. Crossroads Arts and Science Early College, 100% graduation rate. And the Collaborative College for Technology and Leadership with a 97.9. Then we'd like to recognize our schools for exceeded academic growth. Again, we have the Collaborative College for Technology and Leadership. Crossroads Arts and Science Early College. And Woodland Heights Middle School. Then we have expected academic growth. We have the Agriculture and Science Early College. Lake Norman High School. North Iredell High School. Oakwood Middle IB School. The Brawley School.
And for the elementary schools, Cloverleaf Elementary School, Cottle Creek Elementary School, Cool Spring Elementary School, Harmony Elementary School, Scotts Elementary School, Sharon Elementary, Third Creek Elementary, Troutman Elementary, Union Grove Elementary, and Woodland Heights Elementary.
So if someone to go on top, on the stage. Get someone down here. Get someone down here. Or, Chris, if you can move up and everybody slide down. If you can move up and then everybody, the front row slide down.
Mr. Woody.
Good evening, Chairman Howell, members of the board, and Dr. James. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you again to share some of the successes of some of our outstanding CT students. At this time, I'd like to invite ag teacher Lauren Irby up to the podium to introduce and talk about her livestock team and all that they've accomplished. Ms. Irby?
All right, well, members of the board, Superintendent James, I just want to recognize from North Iredell High School, our livestock evaluation teams. These young folks traveled to Salisbury this year. It was a regional, but it was like the western half of the state. So we competed in Salisbury. These folks looked at classes of animals ranging from cattle, swine, sheep, and goats, and were able to effectively use the practices we've talked about in classes and in our livestock judging practice itself to determine the most desirable characteristics in those animals and how we would place them in a class. They then had to justify those placings by giving a set of oral reasons to an adult judge to talk about why they did what they did, focusing on that public speaking and leadership development skill. So, without further ado, our senior team represented North Iredell High School and Iredell-Statesville Schools by securing 13th place out of 62 teams in the western half of North Carolina. They also secured 5th place in the region in the event. Team members were Kara Murdoch, Morgan Harrington, Landon Krause, and Haley King.
One, two, three. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's okay. No, but.
I got you.
Yeah.
One more, take 3.
Sorry, you're good. Thank you.
Okay, our junior team also represented North Iredell well by taking 5th place in the Northwest region in the event. Team members were Lane Barnett, Carson Gaither, Hunter Sipe, and Wyatt Klein. Lane Barnett placed 10th high individual in the junior division out of 212 contestants.
And that's it. Thank you. Okay, there's no school spotlight tonight. So, Miss Elliott.
Well, good evening. For the third time in 2 months, you guys get to see me, and we're going to talk about the calendar. So, any questions?
I told the board that I would check into the climate of the legislature, and I have. I've spoken with several people, and what I'm hearing is that the North Carolina Senate will not like if we choose to go early. However, the North Carolina House will not interfere with our choice to go with an early calendar. I also found out some interesting information. Teachers, if we choose the late calendar, we'll have a long time between paychecks. And since they can only get 10 paychecks now, the state does not allow teachers to put their checks into 12. So if you're a single teacher, you go a long time from May until, well, the first major check would be at the end of September. So that puts an unfair burden on our teachers as well. So any other comments?
Could I ask one more time? When you presented this the first time, whenever that was, way back when, you listed the reasons that option one would be favorable. There were about 5, 6, 7 of them. Could you go through those again, please?
Sure. So they are, option one would be aligned with our 3 early colleges, would be aligned so that our students that are taking CCP classes at the high school level at traditional would be aligned with our Mitchell calendar. Make me look at my notes. Let's see, early college, the CCP classes, all calendars would be aligned, meaning if we have students that are going to our early college and our traditionals are out, then that is bus transportation, and it could be staff that are working on the traditional have to work at early college, or it could be vice versa. Our early colleges are out, traditionals are in, means the bus routes are still working. I think we have found that a couple times this year where our traditional schools have been out, our early colleges have been in, and it's kind of challenging for those early college students if they have to ride a bus to get to school. So those are some of the big issues.
Then there was the other one of, you finished the first semester before Christmas,
Absolutely.
and so you don't have to go home and study for what you've done a month ago to come back and take exams.
Right.
That also.
Right, and we just finished our exams before this Christmas, and I did hear, the youth group in my church, they were very appreciative of that because they didn't have to go home for 2 weeks and then have to come back and study and cram for an exam. we don't have that learning loss. I mean, even though it's just 2 weeks, you know, it's kind of like you go home and you don't want to study biology over Christmas.
They never do.
Well, no, they don't. No. They do. They
I remember.
But anytime you can take the exams prior to Christmas, I mean, I think that's for the best interest of our children.
Okay, and then there was another one, which was the coinciding of a student, and we have more and more of them, who are finishing their high school career the first semester.
Yes.
So if they finish at Christmas, they're ready to go to college in the second semester. We wait and don't end the first semester until the end of January, then they're sometimes left out of starting that second semester of the year.
Right. Sometimes when that happens, and let's say that we were on our traditional 2 calendar, and we have students that are going to finish early and start college in January. Right. That means that not only do they have to go ahead and finish their exams prior to Christmas break, so they're losing out on about 5-6 days of instruction. So they're losing out on instruction. They're having to take those exams early so they can start college in January. I think the other one that I brought up was our early college students that take classes on our traditional campus. If we are on option 2, then early college will start in early August because they have that flexibility with the early college model. They lose out on 3 weeks of instruction because we wouldn't start until the end of August. So that's, and then, you know, that's, again, they're losing out on 3 weeks of instruction.
Thank you.
Ms. Elliott, when you presented this to us a year ago, you reported there was a survey done, correct, of parents, students, staff, teachers?
Not this school year.
No,
but last
previous,
year.
right.
Yes.
And the data was something like overwhelmingly supportive of the early calendar, correct?
Yes, sir.
You didn't do a survey for this coming year, right? Do you have anecdotal data from your conversations with parents and students, teachers and staff on where they would like to go?
They want the early start. They liked it this year. They liked the fact that we got out, and when we got out in December, it was like especially for our high school teachers and our high school students, it was that like hard break, you know? And then they can come back on, we came back on January, or the students came back on January 4th, and they were ready to go. We're out before Memorial Day. So it just kind of, you know, I know that we're not having that many more days in the summer, but it's almost like anytime you get out before Memorial Day, it seems like a longer summer. But everybody was positive about this year's calendar.
Any other questions?
You know my thoughts on this.
I sure do.
And so, you know, and I do want to thank the people from Celeste Hinkle that have sent me multiple emails in the last few days on this, and I wonder what direction they are for, Miss Elliott. I think we know.
I know what direction. I didn't ask them to do it.
I know you didn't. I'm not implying that either. But I guess what I am saying more than anything is, I mean, for myself, it's difficult because, you know, we took an oath to uphold the law, and it's called the Save Our Summers Law, and it's Phil Berger's pet, is a nice way of saying it. And of course, Tim Moore, which is the House Speaker, is basically against it. He's had multiple bills filed in the House, and it can't get past the Senate. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chairman or Mr. Superintendent, if I'm incorrect on that. But of course, the early calendar does not comply. It's not compliant with the Save Our Summers Act or whatever. And so that's been my issue the whole time. Not because educationally, yes, the early calendar is better. There's no issue with that. I saw it anecdotally looking outward and looking inward because I have a child, you know, that is in the system. So how can I reconcile those two things, you know? And so what I plan to do is, unless it causes a tie, I do plan to abstain and just not vote on it because I can't. How can I keep my morality of upholding the oath, but then not do what's best for the kids? And I just want to explain my position on that.
Anyone else? I will say to the comment you made, Dr. Knight, is that the House has passed several bills to give us flexibility in our calendar, but when they get to the Senate, they never reach the floor. They're put in the desk drawer and never see the light of day. And that's one man doing that. Okay. I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve option 1, the early calendar.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve option 1, which would be the early calendar. All those in favor, aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
No.
So we have 2 opposed and 1 abstention. So it passes. Option 1 will be adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the North Carolina School Board Association is going to start a new committee, and Mr. Kubinik has asked us to send him as our representative. It is a legislative committee where they will meet and hopefully come up with legislation that would benefit public schools of North Carolina. I think I've always said that our legislators have gotten poor information, and hopefully this group would be able to give them good, accurate information so that they can make a decision when they vote. So, if there's no discussion, I'm going to make the motion to approve Mr. Kubinik as our representative. Do I have a second?
Second.
So a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So it passes 7-0. Mr. Kubinik, you will fill out the application. Be sure it gets in. Thank you. Anything I can do, please let me know. Okay. We have come to our public comment. We only have 3, so you will have 3 minutes tonight. The Iredell-Statesville Board of Education recognizes that voters have a right to speak to their elected leaders. We have set aside time for that. Each person who has signed up has 3 minutes to speak unless by board policy there are more than 10. At that time, the board will decide to allow 3 minutes or split the time down to accomplish a 30-minute limit. Your remarks are not to be slanderous in nature or verbally abusive to one person or group. Please be aware the board members may be taking notes of what you're saying, so please do not confuse the members not looking down as not caring to what you may be saying. Generally speaking, the board does not respond to your comments. Please give your name and if you live in Iredell County when you come up to the microphone. Thank you.
So first we have Paula Mimnoff.
Is it working? Okay. My name is Paula Mimnoff. I live in Iredell County. Jesus is my strength and shield. I want to talk about students' digital book access in public schools. I've learned that children are given a library card that's connected to their lunch number and their ID card. Children may use their library card to check out digital and even paper books from their device they use at school. Children have access to any of 3 public libraries in Iredell County. These libraries are Harmony, Statesville, and Troutman. I spoke with Rachel in Statesville Public Library to check the assurance concerning the library card issue. Actually, every child in public school is given a card. You can check to see which bad titles are available at specific schools at issnc.org. Children may also check out books through NC Digital Kids Library. You must check each school's website to determine whether or not the media specialist had made specific books available. I chose 2 books that are digitally available to students online using their handheld devices. They are A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah Mass and Identical by Ellen Hopkins. Besides South Iredell High, these two books are also available through the public library access at North Iredell, Statesville, and West Iredell High Schools. Here is a selection from A Court of Mist and Fury. Page 42. He reached across the seat, grabbed hold of my arm, pulled. When I resisted, he yanked harder, hard enough to hurt, hard enough to leave purple bruises. Someone smart would have screamed. Get the fuck over here and don't give me shit. I'm frozen solid in place, just like I was that night, the first time Daddy came. A night Kaylee can't or won't remember, but I do. Daddy smelled of wild turkey. I guess I could have offered descriptions of Daddy's privates, his word, the way he swears his scars. Instead, I stood by and watched father love turn to lust. Page 152. When Daddy finished, he burrowed his face into Kaylee's hair and wept. The other example I chose to investigate is Identical by Ellen Hopkins. It has a rating of 4 out of 5 for explicit sexual activities, including sexual assault and child molestation, violence including self-harm and suicidal ideations, profanity and derogatory terms, and drug and alcohol abuse. Page 538. He was enormous in my hand, so hard yet so silken that I just ran a finger down him in wonder. He hissed, cock twitching as I brushed my thumb over the tip. I smirked as I did it again, cocky bastard. So I leaned down and put my mouth on him. He jerked at the contact with a barked shit, and I laughed around him, even as I took him deeper into my mouth. His hands were now fisted in the sheets, white-knuckled as I slid my tongue over him, grazing slightly with my teeth. His groan was fire to my blood. Remember, these two books are 2 titles out of many others available through the public library access using the handheld devices. The children you saw tonight who received awards deserve the best materials available.
Thank you
They do
very
not
much.
deserve this.
State Law 143-318.17 talks about vulgar comments in a public place. These officers can arrest you if you're not careful. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I may not be able to read the last part. Janet Anderson Hingos? In Housel? In Hosa, I'm sorry.
Do I have to push anything, or I'm good? Okay. Good evening. My name's Janet Anderson in Hosa. I live in Iredell County. I just wanted to take a minute to thank Chairman Howell, Dr. James, and I'm sorry I didn't see all the other board members that came to the Annie play at the NB Mills School. Mr. Schulemeyer and the kids from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade worked so hard. Myself and 2 of my friends, we volunteered. They practiced an hour and 45 minutes, 3 days a week, after school for 12 weeks. And by the time the play dates rolled around, we had lost half of the cast to sickness. And I saw kids pick up roles that they hadn't even practiced and step into positions, and they worked really hard, and I wanted to thank you for coming to support them. And I just wanted to applaud you guys for that and say we need more of that from our board members and less book banning, quoting scripture out of context, petty differences and squabbling. Please, do more activities that support our kids and less of the other stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. And Annie was great.
Mr. Chairman, I request a comment for her about Annie. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Point of order,
Point of order, whatever.
Okay.
board policies, we don't comment?
We don't comment, that's right. That's the reason I'm asking.
Okay. Because I was wanting to talk about the Annie play myself, because I went to it and it was
Yeah.
outstanding.
I just wanted to ask if it was true that you presented that play on Thursday night, and then you presented that play on Friday night. And between Thursday and Friday, there were 11 cast members that were sick that had to be replaced for the Friday night. Is that correct?
One went home as we were getting ready to do the play Friday night. The poor little thing was sitting in my lap crying. She was so sick. She had a fever, and they were dropping like flies.
So not only was it good, they had replaced the people to do it that well.
Yeah, like I said, I saw kids step up, and they were like, here, we were like last minute costume changes, and here, can you do the so-and-so's lines? And because they had been to so many
Mr. Sloan, if you want to make a quick comment? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, and last we have Tom Snyder.
Good evening, Tom Snyder, 237 Sundance Circle in Statesville. First, I want to start off by saying Happy New Year, and let's hope that 2024 is a good year. Let's start it off the right way. Let's stop the squabbling, stop the nonsense, stop the petty stuff, and start working together as a board. There's 70 of us up here. Work together. Not sitting here fighting and nitpicking and this and that, making 4-hour meetings at a meeting. Well, tonight's going pretty good, but not that they were sitting here until 10 o'clock at night because of all the petty nonsense going back and forth, back and forth. Enough said on that. I didn't get to attend, Andy, but I heard the show was very good. I did have the pleasure of being up at MB Mills around the Christmas holiday with a group. We went in, Abby Trent brought a group in, and we brought a Santa Claus, and we gave the kids candy canes and presents, and it was a great experience. As you all know, I have spent a lot of time up in MB Mills in the last year, and it felt good to get in there for Christmas as well. Good bunch of kids. And I ran into my little reading buddy that I read to the year before, and he come running right up to me and hugged me. He said, "Mr. Tom," and he come running, and I tell you what, it made me feel good just to know that that kid remembered me, and he made it a point to come over and talk to me and say hello, and it really meant a lot. But let's hope to a good 2024. We got a lot of stuff to get done beside fighting and squibbling back and forth. We got a school to build. You got an elementary school that's coming. A lot of things that need to be gotten done here. Let's do the business of the taxpayers and the people, and let's remember, let's look out for the students. That's what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for the positive comments. Dr. James.
Thank you, Chairman Howell. I was asked to give an update on Weathers Creek High School. We have recently received planning review from the town of Troutman, and of course that's also in process with Iredell County. So our hopes are to move forward with this project as rapidly as possible. We have been asked by the LGC, which is a local government control, which controls financing and money across the state, to have them something by the end of February. That's a pretty tight timeline, but our hopes are to get a few things tidied up and put this out for an RFP for bids on the school, so the board then can make a determination, and then the county commissioners to approve that so we can move forward on this high school. Meanwhile, we have been working on an elementary school. I will say that has went very well. Ms. Kern serves on that committee. It's been a small committee. I think we've got a lot done fairly quickly. I think in about 3 meetings, we were able to get it out for an actual RFP for the architect. So those plans have come in. I think several of us have thumb drives to look at the RFPs that have come back in to rank order the agencies that bid on it. So hopefully we'll have something soon on an architect for the elementary school. So as Mr. Schneider said, we are growing rapidly in Iredell County, and we're going to have to build schools probably for the next foreseeable future. So it takes a lot of planning and a lot of work on everyone's part. So thank you for that. I'd like to thank all the kids for the great work they've done, and you got to see all of our schools receive recognition tonight. Most of our schools receive recognition, and last month we presented some data from the school system, and I'll have Jada make that available publicly on our website. But I do want to thank the staff for hanging there with us through the holidays. I am proud to say that no tragedies to report, and all too often when we have Christmas break, that's not the case. So thank God that we have lost no one this year. We continue daily to pray for our kids. I'm sure you guys do, parents do, to make the right decisions, and And again, thank goodness that the student the other day did not get hit. The motorcyclist has been apprehended. And I would tell other drivers out there, when in doubt, stop for the bus. Don't go by it. There's always safety first. We, along with the other districts around us, have called school off tomorrow, not because of snow. It's actually because of wind. Most people do not understand that a bus has a topple rating, which means it can be pushed over very easily, like a Jeep or a high profile truck. So wind gusts over 35 miles an hour can topple a bus, so it makes it dangerous to have them on the road. We don't take those lightly. We started early this morning talking to other districts around us, and it looks like so far probably 12 plus districts have called off school tomorrow because of wind gust. So just wanted to let the general public know that. It's not because it's going to rain. So thank you. Again, thank the staff for all they do. And I do want to say thank you to the board. We endeavor to try to work together to produce great results. I can honestly say this system, for the funding we get, produces some of the best results in the state when you take into account what we get. So that does come through, while you might see us argue sometimes or not agree, that does come through a collaborative approach when it comes to putting kids first. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. James. All right. Mr. Kelly,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we adjourn.
second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion on that? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
All right, 7-0. Thank you very much.